Let's start our first news with some shocking scenes that unfolded after the RAF Georgia press conference involving Merab. What was supposed to be a routine media event quickly turned into complete chaos once the cameras stopped rolling. According to reports, tensions exploded when a supporter of Umar approached Merab shortly after the event had wrapped up. Witnesses claim the fan confronted Merab in Russian and demanded to know what his issue was with Umar. The exchange immediately became heated as emotions started rising between the two sides. Several people nearby could be seen reacting as the situation escalated within seconds. Then came the moment that completely changed the atmosphere. Reports suggest that Merab responded by slapping the fan in the face, instantly triggering a massive altercation around them. Members of both camps, security personnel, and people attending the event rushed in as the confrontation spiraled out of control. Video footage from the scene shows shouting, pushing, and multiple individuals attempting to separate everyone involved before things became even worse. Security repeatedly stepped in, ordering people to back away while trying to restore order to the area. The clip quickly spread across social media, with fans debating exactly what led to the confrontation and who was responsible for escalating the situation. Others pointed to the already heated rivalry surrounding Umar and Merab as the reason emotions boiled over so quickly. One thing is certain, the drama surrounding these fighters continues to grow, and this latest incident has only added more fuel to an already intense rivalry that shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. Move on to another news, and the lightweight title picture may have just become a lot more interesting for Max. Ever since Justin captured the lightweight championship by defeating Ilia at Freedom 250, fans have been debating non-stop about who deserves the next shot at the belt. With Justin showing little interest in running things back with Ilia, the door suddenly appears wide open for a new contender to step forward. Now, according to comments Justin recently made during an interview with the UFC, Max could find himself at the very front of the line if he manages to defeat Conor this Saturday at UFC 329. Justin explained that Max already owns something that no other contender can currently claim against him: a memorable knockout victory. Because of that result, Justin believes Max would have one of the strongest arguments possible for a title opportunity if he gets his hand raised against Conor. Justin stated that Max would probably have the best chance at securing a title fight after this weekend because of their history inside the octagon and the significance of that previous result. A victory over Conor would only strengthen his position even further and make his case nearly impossible to ignore. As for Conor himself, Justin admitted that things become a little more complicated. Looking strictly at rankings and recent activity, he doesn't believe a title shot for Conor would make much sense on paper at this stage. However, Justin also acknowledged the reality of the fight business. This is Conor, and this is the UFC. When those two factors come together, unexpected decisions can happen, and surprising opportunities can appear almost overnight. For now, all eyes remain on UFC 329, because the outcome of the main event could completely reshape the future of the lightweight division. Move on to another news, and Alex may have finally given fans a clearer picture regarding his long-awaited UFC return. According to recent comments shared by Shaquille Majuri from CBS Sports following discussions with Alex, the former champion is reportedly fully committed to making his return to the octagon this November, and this time the plan is to compete at heavyweight. The update immediately sparked excitement throughout the MMA world, as fans have been eagerly waiting to find out when Alex would step back into competition, following months of speculation surrounding his future. While the return date appears to be taking shape, one major question still remains unanswered, and that is the identity of his next opponent. At this moment, there has been no official announcement regarding who the UFC wants to place across from Alex for such a significant comeback fight. The situation becomes even more interesting when considering Dana White's reported interest in matching Cyril Gane against Tom Aspinall at UFC Paris this September. If that matchup moves forward, it removes one of the biggest and most meaningful heavyweight options available for Alex later this year. As a result, attention has started shifting toward other possible names that could make sense for both the division and Alex's legacy. One fighter being mentioned is Josh Hokett, who has quietly been building momentum with an impressive run inside the heavyweight division. Hokett has certainly become a polarizing figure among fans and fighters alike. And reports suggest Alex has not exactly been a supporter of his personality outside the cage. Still, business often outweighs personal feelings in this sport, especially when rankings and opportunities are involved. From a competitive standpoint, Hokett has earned attention by putting together a strong 4-0 run while picking up victories over established names such as Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades. Those performances have placed him firmly in the conversation for bigger opportunities moving forward. For Alex, a successful move to heavyweight could become one of the most important chapters of his career and further strengthen an already legendary resume. Until an official announcement arrives, the speculation continues as fans wait to see who will stand across from him when he finally makes his highly anticipated return. Move on to another news, and Arman has officially responded to the recent comments made by Paddy, and he clearly wasn't interested in holding anything back. The exchange started after Paddy took aim at Arman and suggested that he should retire the singlet and shift his focus entirely back to competing inside the UFC. The comments quickly spread throughout the MMA community, leading many fans to wonder whether Arman would eventually respond. During a recent media appearance, Arman was asked directly about Paddy's remarks and what he thought about the criticism coming his way. His answer was short, direct, and impossible to misunderstand. According to Arman, the reason behind Paddy's comments is simple. He believes Paddy is jealous of the opportunities and attention surrounding him right now and is using public statements to keep himself involved in the conversation. The discussion then shifted toward the possibility of the two competing against each other under the RAF banner in a grappling match or wrestling contest. Once again, Arman made his position very clear. He dismissed the idea completely and explained that he doesn't believe Paddy has any interest in facing him in any form of competition. Whether it is mixed martial arts, grappling, or wrestling, Arman believes the outcome would be the same. Arman went on to describe the matchup as easy money, stating that Paddy has never wanted to wrestle against him and hasn't shown any desire to fight him inside the cage either. In his view, if someone isn't willing to meet him in MMA competition, there is little reason to believe they would suddenly agree to face him in a wrestling match. Despite the strong words, Arman did leave the door open for the possibility if Paddy ever changes his mind. He made it clear that if the opportunity presents itself and the interest is genuine, he would have no issue accepting the challenge. For now, however, Arman appears completely convinced that the matchup simply isn't going to happen, and he remains focused on the next chapter of his career, while the rivalry continues to generate attention and plenty of discussion throughout the MMA world. Move on to another news, and the possibility of Ilia facing Paddy is once again gaining serious momentum inside the MMA world. If Ilia does not receive an immediate rematch against Justin following their battle at Freedom 250, many believe the UFC could turn its attention toward one of the biggest rivalries the division has seen in years. The bad blood between Ilia and Paddy has existed for a long time, with heated exchanges, public insults, and plenty of tension building every single time their names are mentioned together. Because of that history, fans have continued to push for the matchup, and now it may finally be closer than ever. The situation becomes even more interesting if Paddy manages to defeat BSD next weekend. A victory there could place him directly into the title conversation and potentially set up a #1 contender fight against Ilia. Adding even more fuel to the speculation, Joe Rogan recently discussed the potential matchup during a new podcast episode and made it clear that he believes this is the perfect fight to make. According to Joe Rogan, Ilia versus Paddy in London would be absolutely massive due to the personal rivalry and the atmosphere that such an event would create. He explained that the tension between the two fighters already sells the fight by itself, making it one of the easiest matchups for the UFC to promote. Joe also suggested that London would be the ideal location for the contest, believing the energy from the crowd would make the event even bigger and more memorable. The discussion even included jokes about the wild reaction the fight could generate among fans in attendance. Of course, this potential scenario creates another important question regarding Arman and his position in the lightweight division. Many fans believe Arman deserves a major opportunity, but activity has always played a huge role in UFC matchmaking decisions. Fighters who stay active and continue competing often move ahead in the line, regardless of rankings or previous accomplishments. Because of that reality, nobody should be surprised if the UFC decides to move forward with Ilia and Paddy instead, especially if Paddy delivers an impressive performance next weekend and creates even more buzz around the matchup. Move on to another news, and we have some unfortunate developments regarding an upcoming UFC fight card. According to reports that were initially shared by reliable sources and later confirmed by multiple outlets, Kevin Holland has officially withdrawn from his scheduled fight against Jacoby Smith next weekend. The news came as a major disappointment for fans who were looking forward to seeing the matchup, especially considering the momentum both fighters were bringing into the event. Unfortunately, injuries remain one of the toughest realities in mixed martial arts, and this latest setback has forced another late change to the card. At the moment, the information surrounding the situation remains limited. Early reports indicate that Kevin Holland suffered an injury during preparation for the fight, but no specific details regarding the nature or severity of the injury have been released publicly. As a result, there is currently no clear timeline regarding his recovery or when fans can expect to see him return to competition. For now, the focus shifts toward rehabilitation and making sure he is fully healthy before stepping back into the octagon. The development also creates a difficult situation for Jacoby Smith, who was preparing for one of the biggest opportunities of his career. With fight week rapidly approaching, the UFC now faces the challenge of finding a suitable short-notice replacement capable of keeping the matchup alive. The circumstances make the situation even more disappointing, considering the event carries extra significance for Jacoby Smith personally. Being born and raised in Oklahoma, competing on this card represented a special moment in front of his home crowd and local supporters. Everyone involved will now be hoping that Kevin Holland makes a fast recovery and that the UFC can secure an opponent in time to keep Jacoby Smith on the card and preserve an important opportunity in his professional journey. Move on to another news, and Justin has made a very bold prediction regarding a potential showdown between Ilia and Paddy. During a recent discussion about the lightweight division, Justin gave his honest assessment of how he believes a fight between the two rivals would play out. His prediction was not close, and it certainly caught the attention of fight fans around the world. According to Justin, if Ilia and Paddy fought 100 times, he believes Ilia would come out victorious in an incredible 97 of those matchups. That level of confidence speaks volumes about how highly Justin rates Ilia's abilities inside the octagon. Justin described Ilia as one of the best fighters in the world and one of the most dangerous competitors currently competing in mixed martial arts. In his view, Ilia possesses a level of skill, power, and finishing ability that separates him from most fighters in the division. At the same time, Justin made it clear that he was not dismissing Paddy or overlooking what makes him successful. He explained that Paddy's unusual and unpredictable style creates problems for opponents that many traditional fighters struggle to deal with. According to Justin, Paddy attacks from strange angles, uses awkward timing, and moves in ways that can be difficult to read. Those unique qualities often force opponents out of their comfort zone and make preparing for him a difficult challenge. Justin compared that type of style to fighters such as Sean Strickland and Jiri Prochazka, competitors who have built successful careers by using unconventional movement and timing that opponents rarely encounter in training camps. Even with those advantages, Justin still believes the difference in overall danger and finishing ability strongly favors Ilia. Having shared the octagon with both fighters during his career, Justin's opinion naturally carries significant weight among fans and analysts alike. For Justin, the matchup remains heavily one-sided, and his prediction could not have been more clear. In his eyes, Ilia would simply prove too skilled, too dangerous, and too complete over the course of that rivalry.